Hey there, crafter crew. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to learn how to make two types of scoopable wax melts. We are going to learn how to make our classic scoopable wax melt, and we're going to learn how to make this very cute strawberry cheesecake crumble wax melt. As always, if you have any questions or crafty requests, go ahead and leave those down in the comments below. And here is everything that we're going to need to make our strawberry cheesecake crumble scoopable wax melts and our plain scoopable wax melts. We're going to need a soy container wax. We want to make sure that this is a container wax specifically because using tart waxes or harder waxes will be a little more difficult to get the soft, squishy consistency that we're looking for. Vegetable oil or equivalent, so that can be coconut oil, avocado oil, or mineral oil, fragrance oil. Today I will be using sweet milk from Waxy Flower Candle Supply and strawberry cheesecake from Virginia Candle Supply. A small stainless steel bowl, a stirring tool, a glass or thick plastic bowl or cup to measure fragrance into, a pouring pitcher, a scale, thermometer, pot holder, a pot with water, and either your stove or a hot plate because the double boiler method is required for this process. Prepped jars or other container. These are 9-ounce straight-sided glass jars. For the plain scoopable wax melt, we will only need 4 of these jars specifically. If you are using 8-ounce tins or 4-ounce tins, this recipe will make 5 8-ounce tins and 10 4-ounce tins. For the strawberry cheesecake scoopable wax melts, we will need 5 or more of these jars specifically. Be sure to pick the right container for your scoopable wax melt depending on what type of fragrance that you're using. When it comes to tins, they can rust when it comes to certain fragrances like citrus, anything with vanilla, or even cinnamon. So if you're unsure about your tins, test it out and hang on to them for a while to see if rusting will occur, or pick a different container. We will need a means of initially melting our wax. This can be the double boiler method or a Presto pot. Here are the special items that we will need to make the strawberry cheesecake crumble scoopable wax melts. Some wax crumble. If you're unsure of how to make this, I have a tutorial on how to do so linked in the description. Then we will need red candle dye. This one is from Waxy Flower Candle Supply. A piping bag, but no piping tip, scissors, strawberry embeds. If you need a tutorial on this, that is also linked down in the description. Lastly, we will need a medium to large stainless steel bowl. All of the items listed will be linked down in the description except for the crumble and the strawberry embeds. Now let's get into the process. We're going to go ahead and get our wax melted. So if we're using a Presto pot, just turn your Presto pot on, and if you're using the double boiler method, measure out 1 pound of wax before you melt it. While our wax is heating, we're going to weigh out 12 ounces of vegetable oil or equivalent into our stainless steel bowl. Then we will set that aside. Now we are going to measure our fragrance. We will use 3 to 4 ounces of fragrance oil. In this case, sweet milk. I typically use 4 ounces of fragrance, but if a fragrance oil is a little overwhelming, I will cut back to 3 or 3.5 ounces. When our wax is fully melted, we're going to take that 16 ounces of wax that we need and add in our 12 ounces of vegetable oil. We will stir that in very, very well. And then we're going to take it over to our stove or our hot plate, and then we're going to heat this wax and vegetable oil back up to 175 degrees. While it is reheating, we're going to stir the entire time. If you would like to color your scoopable wax melt, color it before you add in your vegetable oil. Do keep in mind that when you are dyeing this, it will dry a lot lighter than you are used to. Once our wax and vegetable oil have reached 175 degrees, we're going to remove it from the heat, continue stirring, and add in our fragrance oil. When we finish stirring, we will pour into our containers. Then we will let those set. These do take quite a bit longer than traditional wax melts or candles to cool down completely, so don't be alarmed if you walk by 2 to 3 hours later and they're still not fully cooled. Once the scoopable wax melts are completely cool, you can put your lids on them if you would like. I would recommend waiting just a couple of days to let them cure before you put them into your warmers. They will not need an entire 2 weeks like normal soy wax melts or candles. Now let's move on to the strawberry cheesecake crumble scoopable wax melts. We're going to repeat all of the previous steps up until the pouring. When it would be our normal time to pour into our containers, we're going to pour this mixture into a stainless steel bowl and let that completely cool down. While we're waiting, we're going to prepare our piping bag. Now, we're not going to be using a piping tip, so we're just going to cut a big enough hole in the bottom of this piping bag for the scoopable wax to go through. When our scoopable wax is fully cooled, we're going to just transfer that scoopable wax from the bowl into our piping bag, and we're going to take our jar, pipe some of the scoopable wax into the bottom of the jar, place some crumble, and we are going to pipe some more of the scoopable wax on top of that crumble. Then grab our strawberry and press that into the top. And if you would like to put a little bit more crumble at the top like I did, you can go ahead and do so. Your layers don't have to be nearly as thick as I did mine. They can be smaller or they can be thicker if you would like them to be. Make sure though that if your jar has a lid like mine does, that you leave enough space at the top for your strawberry to fit. If you would prefer to start off your jar with crumble instead of scoopable wax, you can do that as well. We will then just repeat this process until all of our jars have been filled completely with the scoopable wax and the crumble with our strawberries. But these turn out very cute and they smell heavenly. And now we have our strawberry cheesecake crumble scoopable wax melts. If you enjoyed this video or you learned something today, go ahead and drop a like. And if you would like to see future videos, go ahead and subscribe. Happy making!